the preparation of energy performance certificates and also individual renovation roadmap. So she will be presenting the specifics of the one-stop shop in Bottrop. And so to start, Jan, with the presentation of ProRetro.
Yes. Now? Okay. Yeah, thank you very much for the introduction, and also thank you very much for the opportunity to present our project today at this event. And yeah, I hope Christophe Malon hasn't promised too much, but we'll see in the end. So just, yeah, the ProRetro project. It is funded within the Horizon 2020 call on establishing integrated home renovation services. And we started the project in June 2020, so right at the beginning of this COVID pandemic. And on this map of Germany, we have highlighted the 5 German cities and regions that are part of our project and that develop and establish integrated home renovation services within our project. And yes, you have the capital, Berlin, right in Eastern Germany. In the south, we have the district of Böblingen, which is the metropolitan region of Stuttgart. We have Bottrop, where Kiran is from. It's in the Ruhr area, close to Essen, so a really post-industrial area of Germany. We have the Hanover region, which is not just Hanover, but like the whole metropolitan region of Hanover in central Germany. And last but not least, we have Wuppertal, which is also in Western Germany, and which is where I am from. And one similarity is that these are all urban, suburban regions where we try to establish these one-stop shops. So we don't really have a rural area, which probably has its own challenges. Yes, and now, oops, yeah, there we are. Before going into more detail, I want to make clear that ProRetro doesn't have like this one-fits-it-all solution for one-stop shops that you could replicate. So sorry with regard to this idea, but that the idea is to, we have partners, we'll get to know them better later on, that build on existing experience, target groups, networks, and from there on take their steps towards this integrated home renovation services. And what this means, we'll see in detail later, but here you'll find our consortium. And as was said before, I'm from Wuppertal Institute. We are coordinator of this project and also the scientific partner. There's another partner in this group, E7 from Austria. And within the project, we are responsible, for example, for evaluating the project results at the end, but also during the design phase of this integrated home renovation services, we supported it, for example, with focus groups. We reviewed different activation strategies, and one important part was to conduct an online survey. And I won't have time to present all the results in detail, but I'll tell you a few things about it. This online survey we held in early 2021. And we as Wuppertal Institute developed the questionnaire. We had input from our implementing partners. And our objective was to assess motives, barriers when it's come to energy renovation. I mean, there's a lot of literature on it, but again, then we describe what an integrated home renovation service would do and asked our participant whether this could be of interest to them. And yeah, which services would be especially important for them. And just for the statisticians among you, one caveat, we didn't have enough resources to do a real probability sampling, so it's a convenience sample. Just know this when interpreting the results. What I present here is we described this idea of an integrated home renovation service and asked the participants whether they would be interested in contracting the services of such an organization. And the first impression was very positive, or positive for more than 80% of our participants. And there were really few people skeptical of this idea. And I'll have a few more results later on. If you're interested, we'll probably have a paper on this survey sometime in the near future, and we'll also have a report on this. Yes, and then there's the second part of our project, which is coordinated by E7. We have involved 5 peer partners in our project, and these are from other European countries and further ahead in the process of establishing one-stop shops, or are even active at the market for quite a few years. And our idea was to enable mutual learning by networking this German implementing partner with the European peers, and that they can discuss progress, challenges, that our German partners receive outsider input on where they're at and what they do. And yeah, that was the idea at the stage of writing the proposal, and then COVID happened. So all these study visits and what we planned in the beginning, we weren't able to do this and had to put the whole process online for the first half of the project. But now we also already organized a few study visits, and some more are upcoming. And we learned that it's really hard, given different conditions, circumstances, to replicate a model one-to-one, but nevertheless, it is interesting to have other peers to discuss project, and so think this is worthwhile even when replication is not possible. I don't have time to introduce all of the peer partners in detail, but we have blog posts on each of them on our homepage, proretro.eu, where their business models, their concepts are described in more detail. So if you want to learn something about this, you can read it there. But now we come to the core part of the project, the integrated home renovation services for Germany. And what you see here is the customer journey going through this renovation process. And before the project, every implementing partner in our project was already active in some parts of this customer journey. A lot of them were doing energy advice, like Kiran, giving energy advice like Kiran. Some were rather come from construction trades and were active in this physical part of the renovation. We have even one partner, ProClima, who was giving out grants. And yeah, within ProRetro, the idea was to extend these service portfolios and networks such that homeowners can be supported not only at some single stages throughout this journey, but throughout the whole journey. What this doesn't mean is that we'll have like a single contract, all-inclusive business model where the homeowner has just one contract and then everything is taken care of. It's more like a coordinating model. I'll introduce the implementing partners, 4 other than Bottrop, based on like clustered, and 2 of them have really decided to concentrate on condominiums. Condominiums are a really difficult target group when it comes to energy renovation. And the partner from Böblingen, they already have a lot of experience with condominiums. The network extends to homeowner associations and property managers, and that's why they decided to also focus the integrated home renovation service on these condominiums, and wants to support them throughout their customer journey. And to do this, they offer initial energy advice. Important part, they are willing and open to participate in homeowner association meetings. That's where the decisions are made. they support them in getting technical expertise, energy advisors who are also needed for grant applications in Germany, or their studies, or their they have to agree or some review data, give data so that they can apply for grants. They're approachable throughout the construction phase and coordinate with relevant local authorities. And they also help with quality assurance after the construction process has been completed, and give follow-up advice regarding consumption behavior. And the difficulties, the challenges they facing, they are somewhat in this homeowner association meetings part. Decision-making process for condominiums are difficult and protracted, and this means lengthy projects. Legal regulations in Germany are somewhat complicated. Sometimes you have to get a few tenders in order to be able to contract a specific contractor, and this makes the whole idea of an integrated home renovation somewhat complicated. And they also deal with the question of liability, which remains with the contractors that implement this renovation measures. In Berlin, it's quite similar. They also decided to focus on condominiums and integrated this in a newly established information center called Bauinfo Berlin. And their services they offer, they are quite similar. Initial consultation free of charge. They support finding technical expertise and the support in deciding about renovation measures. And there's again the part in participating in homeowner association meetings, and offer this one single and the same contact person throughout the customer journey. Yeah, one other result from our online survey, we ask the participants what services are of greatest importance on a scale from 1, not important at all, to 4, very important. And the 3 here is important. So these are all the items that got a score of 3 or higher. And we find out that help with finding qualified contractors is of high importance, especially if a large number of construction trades are involved. And that's what one of our other, or 2 of our other implementing partners deal with. And they built on a network called Netzwerk Modernisierungspartner. It's like a network for partners for renovation, which is also managed by one of the implementing partners. And this network of modernization partners unites companies and freelance experts, and can thereby offer most services needed during an energy renovation, which are energy advice, grant application, planning, construction management, dealing with the building envelope and insulation, other building technologies like heating system, air conditioning, and such on. They have experts for analysis, expertise, and quality management, trade institutions, and even financial institutions and contracting organizations which can help with getting financing. And to join, potential network members have to agree to quality criteria, and also criteria for energy efficient and green planning and construction. And the thing is, what's for them, I think it's a great idea, and it works really good. But at least in the past few years, it had been really hard to find companies, freelancers willing to join this network, and they had a lot of advertising and convincing to get them to join, and they are still busy finding more, because for them to offer this integrated home renovation service, it's important to have a lot of companies in each of these areas so that they can really offer this from the network. And another part of some of these survey results, which the most important parts of an integrated home renovation service, at least for our German survey participants, was a one and the same contact person and the coordination of construction works. And this is exactly the field where The partner from Wuppertal is active. It's a bit different type of partner than the others we met before. It's a cooperation of contractors which are active in or specialized on different construction trades, and with ProRetro they have better integrated energy advice and this whole energy topics into their portfolio, and are thereby better able to tackle also deep energy renovations. And like before, they offer a single contact person throughout the entire renovation project. If they have the construction trades in their portfolio, they're even able and willing in doing the coordination and organization of construction works, so that construction works are really well timed and there's not too much lag between some parts of the renovation. They support in selecting renovation measures, and they do much more, which I don't have the time to go into in detail. Before handing over to Kiran, I want to summarize the challenges and some of the approaches we have found to deal with them. There's a great need for support in finding qualified contractors in Germany. That's like an underlying topic throughout our project. And there we found that this network can be really of great help. The difficulty is winning qualified market actors for these networks. The answer is to make the advantages for them clear. We heard this morning, I think, as well. Just the time, if you have a very specialized technical expert, the time he can spend on his expertise is more if you have some contact person in the background who can explain like the general basic details, and so save them time. This is an advantage. And also, the change in market conditions will get there soon. Another point, ensure quality and compatibility with climate protection targets. There, this network from Hanover has found the idea to define criteria, and they even set up boards which are chosen by all members of this network, which monitor adherence to these standards, and which deal in cases of conflict. They can negotiate, and even external evaluations are possible if it really comes to the worst. Condominiums as difficult but important target groups, because we have a lot of them in Germany. We think that the single contact person willing and open to attend homeowner association meetings, building trust, convincing, can be of help there, and we'll hope to get results for this within our project. We have another point, I don't know how it is for you, but we see market conditions changing rapidly at the moment. Prices increases, interest rates increases. The data for renovations, it's really not that reliable and good on the like statewide scale, but we see diminishing number of building permits and such. So there's really uncertainty in the market and reluctance to undertake ambitious renovations. And then we have the question of the long-term viability of these services. During the survey, we got the feedback that there are some market actors already offering something like integrated home innovation services, for example, architects, at a price, of course. And the question is somewhat, is there a place for this publicly funded, supported, integrated home renovation services? Also, next to commercial actors, there's probably a need for them, for those who can't pay and don't have the money to get an architect to take care of everything. And my last slide before I hand over to Kiran is the last bit of our survey. We asked for the willingness to pay, and most of them agreed to that. They said, yeah, we could imagine paying a fee, which is a model some of our peer partners use. The average was around 3% of total invest. I hope we get results within our project, whether this is like a realistic number or not, for the time it takes to support. Yeah, and but this is a remaining task for the remaining month of our projects. And before handing over, I want to thank you very much for your attention. Again, advertising our homepage. We also have a newsletter. You can subscribe or read our blog if you're interested in where we're at. And now I hand over.
Okay, there we go. Hello, everybody. My name is Comif-Eefmp, and I work as an energy advisor, energy consultant at the Innovation City Management GmbH, or ICM for short, in Bottrop. Today, I will share with you how, with the help of the Wuppertal Institute and the project ProRetro, we are currently increasing the renovation rate in Bottrop and creating the one-stop shop Bottrop. Thank you. So, yeah, for a better understanding of the development, it is important to have a quick look of the at the history of the city, because Bottrop itself had changed a lot in recent years. As Jan said before, Bottrop is known for its former coal mining industry, which lasted over 150 years. So coal mining settlements can be found in the whole city, which are in high need of modernization and optimization. However, the course for further urban development had long been set, as Bottrop won the competition of the Initiativkreis Ruhr for the climate city of the future in 2010. So the city Bottrop became Innovation City Bottrop, with the goal to reduce the carbon dioxide emissions by 50%. Therefore, a total of 6 districts were selected that were particularly in need of renovation. And in these 6 districts, neighborhood offices been created, like a place where citizens can receive help. You can compare those neighborhood offices to small one-stop shops. And beside the private sector, this Innovation City project addressed the working, renewable energies, mobility, and redevelopment, urban redevelopment sectors. By addressing these 5 sectors and the own Now we go. And the municipal fundings that were created in the year 2014, we were able to achieve our goal. And the balance of the project showed us in 2020 that we had reduced the CO2 emissions by 50%, by nearly a bit more than 50%. So within the framework of the project ProRetro, we were able to expand our services in the private sector in one central one-stop shop, a place where everybody can receive more help than in the Innovation City Bottrop project. And in addition to the already free energy and subsidy advisors, we now also can support in the areas of finances, experts, craftsmen, and municipal consents. And the follow-up is a really important step to us, because then the clients never feel left alone with their problems. And also we can follow the renovation status at the same time. This diagram shows how a consultation at our one-stop shop can look like and work out. I will explain the process with a small example. Let's assume that a family books an energy advice session in our one-stop shop. In the first step, our energy advisors, energy consultants, travel to the family's house and analyze the current energy status. And based on this, renovation measures are recommended, the subsidies are suggested, and a rough economic analysis is calculated. And if the family wants to implement the measures, and it's not important how big and or how small it is, we offer the use of a website which includes a list of local craftsmen. And if the family wants to take advantage of the federal subsidies, then an energy efficiency expert has to be included, because just only this person is able to apply the subsidies. But this person also it checks the offers of the craftsmen and monitors the renovation status. Now let's assume that the family's house is a protected building, or they want to install a geothermal heat pump. In both of those cases, it has to be checked whether and how this measure can be implemented. And to support, we direct them to the competent authority of the city of Bottrop, because only there they can find out if something is possible. And if the family has some financial questions or want to take out a loan, we direct them to our contact of the city bank, which is the Sparkasse Bottrop. So this means that the family can be helped in almost every area, and our energy advisors serve as energy pilots and are available at every stage of the renovation. In this way, we ensure the quality of our advices and have an overview over the renovation and its completion. During the design phase, we encountered some small challenges. For example, the question if you want to cooperate with local craftsmen or if you want to maintain our independence. After long discussions, we have decided to remain neutral and independent, because just when we remain our independence, we can strengthen the trust in the counseling. And we have a website which we got recommended by the Münster Chamber of Crafts. Currently, like nearly every city in Europe, the energy crisis and its associated high energy costs are a challenge too. This makes every measure more expensive, and this decreases the willingness to realize them. And in addition, the shortage of craftsmen and material leads to higher investments and long waiting times. And beside the challenges, we have also had some lessons learned. For example, the cooperation of craftsmen isn't necessary, and we have a very manageable website that we can recommend to the citizen of Bottrop. And from the Innovation City Bottrop project, we have learned that the visibility of the offer can be increased through advertising campaigns. And if you want to answer some more detailed questions, then external experts can help out. That's why we love to involve them to our events. And last but not least, that the central place for energy-related question is very important. That's why we are glad to create this one-stop shop Bottrop for our citizens. Since 2010, around 4,600 buildings have been analyzed for energy efficiency. So nearly every fifth counseling led to a renovation. And since the start of ProRetro, around 430 advisory sessions have taken place. These figures show us that many owners and many renovations can be addressed and reached out through our projects. And that's why we expect that the energy advice will receive further acceptance, and that's why the renovations will move on and lead to a high renovation rate out of our energy advices. From 2009 to 2020, the Innovation City Bottrop project was able to save around 47 CO2 emissions in the private sector. Now let's assume we get a steady development in this sector, then we are able to save another 40% by 2025. So in total, we could save around 78% CO2 in the private sector compared to 2009. I know there are some 22% left, but somehow we will try to take care of them till 2030. Thank you.
Thank you very much for these two presentations. I will now turn to the room and see if you have any question. I will please ask you to specify to whom you place your question in priority. And maybe I have a first question, maybe for Jan. You didn't develop very much on the financial products that are proposed and potential financial offer. Is it because it's not so much of an issue in the case you're studying, or just as a choice not to develop this aspect? That in that case, are you proposing some financial solutions for the homeowners?
So we have, or most implementing partners offer to network their customers with financial institutions, but indeed we found out that this having a known financial offer or like an own financial product for the one-stop shop, like some of our peer partners have and put a lot of energy in developing these, was of low priority in our survey results. It could be due to like the German system. We have a lot of, I don't know who of you are aware of us with the KfW. So there are a lot of grants and soft loans and possibilities to get financing for energy renovations on the federal level, but also at the state level and in some cases even at the municipal level. So this was like a twofold decision. On the one hand, we saw that it's really difficult and it takes a lot of work in order to being able to offer your own financial product, for which the demand, at least among our survey participants, was not that high. So we just stayed at being able to, some implementing partners have financial institutions in their networks and can so network their customers to their financial institution if they want. But this is where we remain with regard to this financial part.
Okay, thank you. And I will have a question for Comif-Eefmp on, I mean, you mentioned that cooperation with craftsmen was not necessary, which is surprising, and that referring to the website is enough. But my question would relate to the quality of refurbishment that is done, and how, to which extent you ensure the quality of the work that is performed. Do you control the quality? Do you control also the craftsmen that are part of these platforms, and to some extent qualify the ones that are working properly and create this confidence of homeowners that the work will be properly done?
Okay, so nearly every craftsman who is listed in this website has like a master degree. So not every craftsman can be included in this website. So there's a check before they, so the Münster Chamber of Crafts checks the quality and qualification of those craftsmen before they list them in this website. And also our energy advisors or energy consultants always check the offer before they and give a mini result of their own opinion to this offer before they contract them. Yeah, danke.
Thank you. One question here and then.
Yes, good afternoon. This is a question for Comif-Eefmp. You mentioned that due to the energy prices, there was actually reluctance to carry out renovation. And this surprised me because in other services, we hear that more people are turning to the one-stop shops to renovate their house. And of course, that creates a difficulty on the service. So can you elaborate on this? Is it because do you get more calls from potential customers and then they decide this is too expensive and we don't follow up, or is it that there's less interest already from the homeowners?
So the interest is really big, but the problem is the price, and that's why like after someone came in our adversary session, we tell them to do measures in 5 different sectors on his building, but not every measure is in the financial balance to realize it. And throughout the energy crisis, some building owners are confused of the future, and they don't know if when they implement and realize like a solar panel on their roof, will it last that long, or are there problems to face? That's why they are a bit afraid of implementing and realizing the measures, but we try to focus them on the period of the payback period of the measures, because by high energy costs, the payback period decreases, and that's why in the end effect, they will save more money. And I hope that this unsureness will decrease by the end of the year. Yeah.
Okay, hopefully. So a question here, and I think over there afterwards.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I'm Sula Kara from Cyprus Energy Agency. I would like to ask a question that also Christopher has already mentioned about the craftsmen that not needed to be included, but I would like to know if these craftsmen have specialized specific measures that are already implemented in the renovations. And what you said before, how familiar are the residents about these measures, and if you plan or in the future to make them, let's say, to inform them about these measures and how they can affect their life in the future. And also, during the procedure to choose the craftsmen from the list, do you have a specific, let's say, specifications regarding the measures? So you can choose which craftsmen they can choose, let's say.
Yeah, we have like
Thank you.
like 2 measurements, I can say. We have the law, which always says if you want to realize a measure, they have some details to be included. Sometimes I'm too technical. Huh? Yeah, is it? Yeah. Okay. So it's detailed on sometimes on the material, like there is a U value. Yeah, thank you so much. Perfect. Good, thank you. Yeah, like the U value, and on the technical part, like the heat pumps and so on. In Germany, the craftsmen are allowed to do what the law says, and not what's not that technical and future orientated. And we try to give the owners the advice to receive at least 2 or 3 offers to compare the craftsmen, because we want to remain the independence. So that's why we can't say this craftsman isn't that good. but we can say this offer isn't that realistic. And if the craftsmen forget some important points, we can correct it or tell them to correct it. So we try to create a safer feeling with the craftsmen, because we can't cooperate with the craftsmen at all. Yeah.
Jolijn from the Netherlands, and I was wondering, I think the question is for both of you, what kind of response do you get from the constructors when those homeowners keep asking for offers and then they don't get work out of it? Does that influence your one-stop shop ecosystem, and how do you make sure that their success rate in acquisition in offers meets their demands? How do you meet the demands of the constructors in this whole process?
So sometimes I feel like the craftsmen, the relationship between the house owners and the craftsmen feels like a poker game, because there's already a shortage of the craftsmen. So there are plenty homeowners going to the craftsmen and to us too, and asking for some measures to realize. But actually, it's like the craftsmen go over to the house of the owners and try to offer them some specific measures. But if but they try to make better offers, and if the homeowner has more money to give, then they get
It will be more expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
But if the homeowner maybe doesn't have enough,
yeah, then he or she has to wait much longer. Yeah, that's the problem in whole Germany.
okay, yeah, because I'm asking, I don't know if you have another reflection on this, but in the Netherlands we see that we've kind of all the constructors do have like a burnout, because when they cooperate in these kind of projects with municipalities taking action, yeah, we're going to enforce, and everybody starts asking for an offer. They work around the clock preparing offers the best they can do, and they're probably good offers, but then in the end nobody buys it because, well, the investment seems too high. They thought about €5,000, but the good offer is 20,000, not because it's too expensive, but it's the integrated approach.
Yeah, I unfortunately don't have like detailed data. We probably have to ask the colleagues, for example, from Hanover, if they have some data on it. This conversion rate, I think in the past few years, their contractors were in a quite comfortable position in Germany. So that was also hard to get them involved in such like the networks I presented, because they said, yeah, we got so much demand, we don't need it. I see the discussion with the energy costs rising, and okay, is it not like that's a strong incentives for implementing some measures? And you also see like a lot of activities, especially it's anecdotal evidence, but what I hear from it's a lot of people wanting to change their heating system. So there's big interest in heat pumps at the moment, not so much in insulation. But with rising energy prices, we also have rising material prices. And now the question is also with wages and markups of contractors. So I'm not exactly sure, but I don't have data on it, that's a net positive. So that's a net incentive, these rising energy prices for deep renovations at the moment. But yeah, we'll see what the future brings. I know that the colleagues from Hanover are very active in winning new companies for their network. It was hard in the past, and I can ask them for if they have data, if this changes at the moment, so that contractors feel a greater need to have access to customers who then convert, so you have a high conversion rate from quotation to implementation.
Yeah, then the costs might be lower as well, because now they have.
And this is something that can to help like advertise these networks. This is a promise of them, and in the past it was like, okay, nice promise, but we don't need it. Our books are full anyway. So we'll see.
Okay.
I don't have data, unfortunately.
Another question, maybe one or two. So the last question would be.
Hi there, thanks very much. My name is Matthew Jones from E3G in Brussels. My question was about the, I think, Raumfabrik one. So the implementing partners, from what I understand, are contractors or a cooperative of contractors. We've heard quite a lot about how trust is really important. And I can imagine that from some people's point of view, that if the person you're going to, the one-stop shop, is a contractor, then they might think, oh, well, this person has a vested interest, or might be biased in the information they're giving me. So I wondered what you would respond to that. And then also, I think that there can be a vested interest in the sense that, the contractor might, what is most interesting to do in terms of the renovation work economically for the contractor might not be the same as what is best to do in terms of energy savings. So there could perhaps be a sort of a tension there. So I just, do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, first of all, your first point regarding vested interests, that's those. I showed this figure with the first impression of the one-stop shop idea, and people who had a negative, we had open questions for those who had a negative impression. It was vested interest. They felt like, yeah, we can't trust them, and they sell what's best for them, and some even used the word corruption and so on. So that's a topic, definitely. What they tried to do now is with involving energy advisors, and I mean, it's Germany, it's bureaucratic. We have some licensing systems. So if you want to apply for a grant, and many do with the KfW or other public funding agencies, you have to have a licensed energy advisor, and he has to review the measures, and at least taking this part of what's this long-term energy or compatibility with the energy, with the renovation wave, these goals for 2045 to have a climate neutral building sector in mind, and also this long-term renovation roadmap perspective in mind. Yeah, but clearly this is a topic for some, and we at the moment we are trying to reach those who are not afraid of it, who are open to it. And yeah, we got this energy advisor who's not part of the company but remains independent and has to take this perspective, but clearly it's a topic.
Time for conclusion. 16th of November, Live Clean Energy Transition. If you think you can do as well or better, feel free to apply for Live Clean Energy Transition Home Reno, 16th of November. Thank you very much to our speakers. Thank you for attending this. There is another session after the break, which is on a COMACT, renovation of multifamily building, mitigating energy poverty. So also you're very welcome to attend. Thank you again, and they will be there still for the coffee break if you have more questions for them. Thank you.